The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN Monday morning, 8:30 a.m., 60 minutes to go until the opening bell. And we got markets in positive territory right now. Quite a rout on Friday as markets accelerating to negative territory. You had all the indices off between about 1.5 and 2%. This morning, markets getting a little bit of a reprieve. Got the S&P up about 0.6% or 20 points in the positive right now. S&P's trading at, we'll get it, 32.44. We got the Dow futures up 163 points, trading at 28,361. NASDAQ futures up 62 points, trading at 9,060. Oil basically flat. The 10-year yield up a bit at 1.553%. 10-year was almost at about 1.5 flat on Friday. We'll start things off. I have a chart of the S&P up here for a little bit of context. Pretty remarkable. Thursday evening, you had the S&P up at 32.97. If you recall, the S&P is charged higher to end the day on Thursday. The fall off really begins at about 9:15 in the morning on Friday. You have the S&Ps trade from 32.78 all the way down to a low of 32.12 about a half hour before the market closed. And you can see where futures opened last night, Sunday evening. They opened at about, we'll get the opening price, 32.22, and we're now up about 23 points from that price level at 32.45. We'll jump over to the news in Shanghai having to do with the coronavirus. Markets opening back up. You have China down more than 7% as they have not traded in a while with that coronavirus spreading. We'll jump over to some of the other indices. We'll start things off with the S&P 500 as we covered. There is the slide on Friday from 9 until 3:30. You see the market open as we touched on at 6 o'clock last night. I pulled up my computer at 6:15. Not often I was that interested to see with this type of volatility, but nonetheless, market's pretty flat last night and we've climbed higher throughout the overnight session. NASDAQ 100, excuse me, pretty similar action. We trade from 9,200 on Friday. Quite a move down to 89.69. You're talking about 230 NASDAQ 100 points from high to low. From there, though, we're up a bit. We're up almost 100 NASDAQ 100 points from the low of Friday afternoon, trading at 9,065. Dow 30, quite the run as well. You back it up to Thursday night. We were at 28,878. You reach a low on Friday of 28,111. From there, we're up about 260 Dow points, 28,373. Crude oil market, crude has really struggled as growth fears around the world to do with the coronavirus. Crude actually touching $50.60 last night at about 7 p.m. when the futures just after they open. Crude up at 51.57. We'll jump over to a story in a bit in terms of OPEC considering cuts to boost the price with that fear of the market sending prices even lower. Gold contract trading inverse with the market. You had gold trade to highs Friday night of almost 1,600. We opened last night at 1,596 as the market traded to positive territory. Gold pulling back a bit. Gold at 1,581, still a relatively decent price for the yellow metal. And the euro-US dollar trading at 110.63. Other news out there, you got to check in on the VIX this morning, VIX. VIX trading at 1806. We saw a spike to 1999 on Friday evening, Friday afternoon, I should say, on the 3:30 low of the markets. We've seen the VIX pull back a bit as the market has traded positive territory to open up Monday trading. In terms of what else you have happening across the market, we'll touch on the coronavirus. As I mentioned, China stocks, 7%. They trade to negative territory amid virus fears on the first trading day after their Lunar New Year holiday. So China markets have been closed the whole time this is going on. This is why it's actually great in the U.S. that we have rules where markets always have to be open, because guess what, folks? You have markets closed, you have this type of action taking place, and boy, oh boy, there is no price discovery. And you could have argued that the Chinese markets maybe should be down more than 7%. And maybe they would have been if the Chinese government might not be stepping in to boost these markets. Shanghai Composite fell 7.72%, closing at 2746. Shenzhen dropped 8.5 8.45%, ending its trading day at 97.79. The Shenzhen Composite ended at down 8.41% at 1609. All the indexes all fell around 9% in early trading, so they bounced from the lows. A private survey showed China's manufacturing activity expanding in January, with Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index for January coming in at 51.1 for the month. And just mammoth numbers for the first time that China's traded since that lunar holiday. The People's Bank of China announced Sunday that it's going to inject $1.2 trillion, that's approximately $173 billion worth of liquidity, that's US dollars, $173 billion, into the markets via open market reverse repo operations. The Chinese central bank said the overall liquidity in the system would be approximately 900 billion yuan, or 130 billion US more, as compared to the same period last year. So you see the government stepping in, their central bank, trying to find some floor of where the fear will stop, adding to the demand. Well, this will be the largest single-day addition since 2004. It implies a mere net injection of RMB 150 billion, as commercial banks are scheduled to repay RMB 1.05 trillion of funds on Monday. Either way, they're downplaying it. Nonetheless, they are pumping money into a market, and still it is down about 7.7%. In terms of actual numbers on the coronavirus, I'm sure you hear the stories reverberating throughout the weekend. We're now at 361 for the death toll. Hong Kong closing most border crossings with mainland China. Getting into it, these are a number of updates, these times in Beijing, so these numbers actually breaking almost as we speak. You have China says it has unblocked channels of communication with Taiwan over the coronavirus. You have coronavirus control reportedly identified as China's most important task. Yeah, I would hope so. World Health Organization chief says travel restrictions are unnecessary amid coronavirus outbreak. Not sure of that. That seems to be the case in many people's minds. Hong Kong, there it is, closes majority of border crossings with mainland China. So Hong Kong leader announced Monday that the city would suspend 10 out of a possible 13 border crossings with mainland China in an effort to curb the fast-spreading coronavirus. Thousands of medical workers in Hong Kong went on strike starting Monday to compel the city's government to accede to a demand for a complete shutdown of its borders with mainland China to keep out the spread of the virus. Can't blame them if you're a medical worker in Hong Kong. You have a flood of people probably from China trying to flee that territory. You got G7 health ministers to hold a meeting to discuss the coronavirus. Russia says foreign nationals found with coronavirus may be deported. You had the first. China says some countries overreacting. Yeah, it's as we mentioned, this is going to be a PR battle. We talked about it on Friday. Tom and I talked about it on Friday. China already out there. And there's your numbers for the China markets as they dive by the close to 7.7 to 8.5%, pretty much. In terms of what else we have happening, jumping around, Apple analyst cuts the iPhone shipment forecast by 10% due to the coronavirus. So you have a top Apple analyst, I'll get it out, cutting iPhone shipment forecast by 10%. TF International Securities analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, maybe, cut Q1 2020 shipment guidance by 10% on Sunday. iPhone supply being affected. One of the first real stories for that. There's your Apple shares looking open almost $2 lower. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be coming up what we have for earnings, what else we have happening in the market. I'll be right back.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the Tax Opportunity Zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year, or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year, or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We get the Dow up 175. S&P is positive by 21 points now. We got NASDAQ futures positive by 68. Jumping over to some of the other stories out there, and I just wanted to dig in for a moment before we got away. Bloomberg having a good article with a couple statistics in here. Don't want to make it a coronavirus update hour, but having a lot to do with what's happening in the markets, especially over in China right now. So you have China may cut growth target, virus update. Here are your key statistics. 361 deaths. That is more now than the SARS epidemic. Confirmed cases in the country, 17,205. China's worst stock rout in 3,200 left, 3,257 shares limit down. This is what I want to get into because it's pretty remarkable. We saw the numbers that I covered with China being down between about 7.7 and 8.5%. All but 162 of the almost 4,000 stocks recorded losses for the day, with about 90% dropping the maximum allowed by the country's exchanges. Healthcare shares comprised most of Monday's gainers on speculation they will benefit from the virus outbreak. So take a moment and consider that. You have every stock except for healthcare stocks dropping, and 9 out of every 10 of them that are dropping are reaching the maximum allowed limit for the day by the exchanges. Now, with that in mind, what is tomorrow going to look like? What is the government, what is the central bank over there going to start pumping into that market? But I imagine that if they dropped the maximum allowed, we've seen this before, when China really begins to accelerate to the downside, and the central bank tries to step in, imposing limits, and nonetheless, so here's China's indexes, loses 2 key support levels within minutes. I'm going to expand this real quickly. So we have the 100-day moving average in black. We have the 200-day moving average in, call it red or orange. And you can see the gap from about 4,000 to 3,600 in a heartbeat, keeping in mind, folks, that that is just the daily limit. Who knows where actual price discovery would take place below this level if they were allowed to trade where they may. Now, we have limits in our indexes as well. It might not be per an equity, I'm not sure. We do have daily limits in terms of stop limits. I believe it's like 7%, 12%, and then 20% per a day, curbs, trading curbs. But boy, oh boy, we'll see where that opens on Monday. Kind of scary stuff when you start to get into the fact. Well, it was always going to be brutal for China's $7.5 trillion stock market as investors caught up with the losses worldwide. Monday's declines were particularly severe. The CSI 300 index sank as much as 9.1%, a slump rarely seen in its almost 15-year history. The huge number of stocks trading limit down means it could take several days for investors to execute their orders, prolonging the sell-off. Keep that in mind, folks. We'll see what happens. Other news out there we have going on. How about Bitcoin? In the face of some fears in the market, Bitcoin, a little bit lost in the shuffle, logs the best January performance in 7 years as value surges by nearly $40 billion. Bitcoin was up over 29% in January, best performance for that particular month since 2013, 30%, almost quite a run. Experts had said that Bitcoin viewed as a safe haven asset. It would make sense, right, as fears grip the coronavirus around the world. The cryptocurrency was up 29% in January as the market cap of the value of all Bitcoin in circulation grew by almost $40 billion. That's the best January gain since it was up 54% for the month in 2013. Excuse me, getting down to some of the other numbers. Currently, miners are awarded 12.5 Bitcoin per block mined. The rewards have halved every few years, and that's how it's written into the code. By May 2020, the reward per miner is going to be cut in 6.25. He added that Bitcoin's poised for a breakout run to 15,000. Excuse me, by 2020. We'll see if that happens nonetheless. Interesting story over there. Other news, what we have going on, more earnings. It was a big week last week in earnings. A lot of the tech stocks, we saw Apple, we saw Facebook, we saw Microsoft. After the bell today, we get Google out with their earnings. Google, what they'll be looking for to get it down, where are we? Alphabet is expected to deliver earnings per share $12.50 on revenue of $38.4 billion for its fiscal fourth quarter, according to estimates compiled by Bloomberg. Jumping over to Google shares this morning ahead of their earnings. Google, quite the slide on Friday with the rest in the market. You had to trade from about 1470 down to actually below 1430. But even this morning, we could open about $20 in the positive, closed at 1434, trading right now at 1453. Ahead of their earnings numbers this afternoon. Jumping around to some of those other stocks that we had last week. Netflix, not necessarily, but they're looking to trade higher this morning. I believe we get Disney earnings this week as well. Disney trading up more than $1 today. Last week, some of the numbers that we had, you had Microsoft. Microsoft looking to open about $1 in the green. Really didn't get hit that hard on Friday. Facebook, quite a slide last week. We were up at 225 before their earnings number. It was flirting with 200 at one point before the market. And we covered Apple with their earnings last week, spiked to 327 on that initial number. Apple looking to open at about 307. Other stocks we get this week, they covered it. Uber also going to come out with their numbers. Uber trading this morning at about 36.80, closed Friday, that is, at 36.29. Later in the week, as it mentions, Uber is going to report the quarterly results. They IPO'd at $45 a share. We just looked at it to rehash. Uber right now still under that level at 36.77. Jumping back, Uber, along with Lyft, has endured stock drop driven by cautiousness over the profitability prospects of the ride-hailing space as a whole. Uber is targeting profitability by 2021. They view December results as a key step in the right direction for both Lyft and Uber going forward to gain much-needed credibility for the street. That's Wedbush analyst Dan Ives wrote in a note last week. To this point, we believe that both will report modest upside to results, as we are also looking for updated commentary on the current market dynamics of North America. You have Uber Eats. They recently sold the India business to Zomato, maybe? A major step in the right direction, selling off some of their assets, the market like that. With the changing European environment, take rate dynamics, improvement of profitability, and the hot button California Bill AB 5. I believe that has to do with classifying their workers, whether it's as contractors or employees, having to do with taxes. So we will get Uber after the bell. And what else we have? Hopefully you were able to catch the Super Bowl last night. Quite a game. You had the Chiefs going into the fourth quarter down 20-10 and charging back with 3 unanswered touchdowns in the final 6 minutes and 13 seconds to win it out 31-20. Patrick Mahomes wins MVP. He is only 24 years old. Quite a story. Andy Reid, one of the best coaches out there in the NFL, winning his first Super Bowl. I believe that's the first Super Bowl for the Chiefs, maybe in 50 years, only their second Super Bowl ever. Quite a game for that for sure. And how much do they make? We'll bring money into this since we're talking finance. How much will the winners of the 2020 Super Bowl earn? $124,000. Not bad. Most of these guys making millions, but still, that's according to the 2011 collective bargaining agreement. Both the Chiefs and 49ers, they earned $87,000 per player in the postseason already. That includes $31,000 for the divisional playoff and $56,000 for the conference championship. So the winners, in total, $211,000 for that playoff run. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be talking about what we have for the rest of the day coming up to wrap up the program. I'll be right back in 3 minutes. Stay tuned.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets in positive territory. Dow up 147 right now. S&P positive by 19 points. NASDAQ futures positive by 62. I'm going to jump over to Nike shares for a few minutes as they get an upgrade this morning. The headline, analysts recommend buying Nike on coronavirus weakness, multi-year buying opportunity. So UBS upgraded shares of Nike to a buy from neutral, and JP Morgan added the stock to its analyst focus list on Monday. We see the recent pullback as a multi-year buying opportunity. JP Morgan retail analyst Matthew Boss said in a note to clients, you can see the pullback since about, we'll call it January 22nd. You had Nike up at 105.62. I believe that's going to be all-time highs. Let's back it up. There it is, all-time highs. That's quite a year for Nike, 105.62. You see the sell-off on having to do with those China fears down to 96.30. But this morning, when you put it on a 5-minute chart, you see the boost Nike's getting back almost to 99, 98.50 on Nike. What else you have happening? At TFNN.com. Check it out. Our man Basil Chapman, every day live at 12 noon, Tiger Technicians Hour. Basil, 10 days from right now, he'll be doing a workshop with his subscribers, the dark cloud cover, an essential market analysis of what's going on. Basil's going to discuss which techniques helped again to identify the latest market downturn and dark cloud cover for subscribers to the opening call. Basil and his subscribers just going short on the Dow off its all-time high January 21st of 2020 and treated the SMH semiconductor ETF as the quote-unquote canary in the coal mine leading indicator for that downturn. 90-minute webinar. 4 till 5:30, February 13th. Basil puts out great work, whether it's over the weekend. Every morning, you gain instant access to all of that when you sign up for the opening call. You can see what he's going to be talking about. New subscribers, 30-day money-back guarantee. I encourage you to check that out on the front page of TFNN.com. Get ready for that webinar coming up 10 days from right now, February 13th. I appreciate you joining me, folks. One final check on the markets. We got the S&Ps up 19 points. Larry Pesavento coming up live with Trade What You See. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.